You won't believe this. I know I don't believe this, but did you know that Border Patrol agents can stand in the United States, shoot a Mexican national who's standing in Mexico, and have essentially no recourse? Yeah, it's actually true. Up until recently, they were getting away with murder. And even still now, it's being debated in the courts. I stumbled upon this story as I was researching, Trump talking about the wall. And, I was looking at stats and data. And I stumbled upon this article that I could not believe. And then as I did more research, I found more and more and more articles and talk and reports from the courts. And I'm absolutely in shock that this is happening and it's not being reported on. Border Patrol agents can shoot Mexican nationals in Mexico, and there's no recourse. And there's a reason for it. The courts have determined that a Mexican national standing in Mexico has no claim to the U.S. Constitution, has no civil liberties, and therefore is not protected by the same rights as the U.S. Constitution, the right to life. Unbelievable, but very true. For years, Border Patrol agents were completely getting away with it. The reasoning is the Border Patrol didn't want to charge the Border Patrol agents and extradite them to Mexico because I think for obvious reasons, if the Border Patrol agent goes to Mexico, stands trial, and ends up in a Mexican jail, you could imagine that that's not good. The Border Patrol agent's not going to live long, right? It's going to be pretty atrocious for them. So the Border Patrol is unwilling to do that. They don't want to put their Border Patrol agents, they don't want them to feel worried about their own lives. And instead, they basically just give them the ammunition, literally, to kill Mexican nationals with absolutely no recourse. One family of a man who, actually a teenager, who was shot dead. He was gunned down, 10 gunshot wounds to his back and to his head. In the back, this kid was shot. The family finally said, you know what, this can't, how can we have no recourse for this? So they tried to sue. But when they went to go sue, the courts said he doesn't have any rights. The kid had no rights. He was standing in Mexico, and he's a Mexican, and he has no significant ties to the United States. He has no rights to the U.S. Constitution, therefore you cannot sue. So the family then they appealed and went to the federal appeals court, where that court said, yeah, okay, actually you can sue, because we can't live in a society where Border Patrol agents can literally just kill people and get away with it. But now that case, and that was just decided on last year. I mean, here we are in 2019. That case was decided on in 2018. So up until 2018, Border Patrol agents could just shoot people in Mexico, kill them, shoot them dead. And there was absolutely nothing that anyone could do or would do about it. Now it's 2019, and this is going to head to the Supreme Court. So now the Border Patrol agent, who's backed by the Border Patrol organization or agency, they're helping him with the legal fees. They're actually taking this to the Supreme Court, saying that they do not believe that this Mexican family has the right to sue because they believe that the kid had no rights because he's in Mexico and he's a Mexican citizen. 2019, and this is what's happening. I mean, you got to be kidding me. This is real. One Border Patrol agent, in this case in particular, this was Jose Antonio, who died from the 10 gunshot wounds to his back and to his head. That Border Patrol agent is finally facing charges in the United States. So he's facing U.S. Charges, and I'm not exactly sure why they were willing to charge him and what made him different than the previous cases. There was another kid who was shot dead I think in 2010. He was shot in the eye and it killed him. He was a teenager. He was throwing rocks at the Border Patrol agents. And remember, and I know this was not during the Trump administration, but Trump has said that if they throw rocks, then treat it like it's a weapon. And Border Patrol agents apparently have been doing that in the past. They would shoot dead these Mexican teenage kids for throwing rocks at them. And absolutely no recourse whatsoever. The Border Patrol agents were not charged. They did not go to trial, and the families couldn't even sue. So there was literally nothing the family could do. Only this time, in this case, with this Jose Antonio kid, this is the first time that a Border Patrol agent is actually facing criminal charges for cross-border shootings. This is the first time. And actually, he was already charged. He already went to trial, and he was acquitted because they couldn't agree. The jury couldn't agree. So now he's facing charges again. I guess he's going back to trial, and this is the first time. I am just shocked by this. I mean, we're talking about unarmed people, and these are unarmed people being shot dead on the Mexican side of the border, and there's absolutely nothing that anyone can or will do about it. How is this not a bigger story?